to all our learners. Welcome to CEC lecture. Dear learners, the topic that we shall focus on is knowledge economy and global realms. In the lecture, we shall analyze the main features of the knowledge economy. In this lecture, we shall situate and debate the importance of knowledge economy with the bigger focus on international political economy. In the lecture, we shall discuss what do we really mean by knowledge, how today knowledge has become an important currency of power, that we have terms like knowledge economy. Does knowledge economy have a bearing on international political economy? And above all, with the rise of new concepts and processes of and associated with knowledge economy, does it imply that it has a link also with globalization and information technology also? At the outset, let's understand what is the distinction between traditional economy and knowledge economy. When we look into a layman understanding of economy, is that it implies main factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, enterprise. Now, with these traditional factors, today the modes, the idea of economy and its related task of generating livelihoods has changed. So, what we see here is that knowledge economy, economics pertaining with it, is not about scarcity, but rather about abundance. Then most resources, we all know, deplete when used. However, when we look at knowledge economy and its related inputs like information, knowledge, they can be shared and they actually grow through application. Dear learners, knowledge economy, as we take from this discussion going on, then it is a system of consumption and production that is based on the human resources, the intellectual capital. It refers to the ability to capitalize on knowledge, information, scientific discoveries, as well as basic and applied research. A knowledge-based economy is very important in present time, because when we see that how today there is widening in the scope of avenues where labor can work, namely from producing goods on an assembly line to a greater flexibility in design, manufacture, implementation of business ideas, amongst others. Peter Drucker, in his book The Age of Discontinuity, 1969, gave a reference to knowledge economy. Today, when we look around, when we hear terms like information age, computer age, digital age, new media age, or perhaps what we can say the mid-21st century, all of them are characterized by a rapid shift, a transition from traditional industry, which was established by industrial revolution, to an economy where modes of operation, production, distribution, strategizing, innovation are based upon information technology, knowledge, amongst others. When we see today that how in the subset there are innovations, namely development of transistor technology, when we look around at how today there is metal oxide semiconductors, field effect transistors, rise of digital electronics, all of it has no doubt revolutionized the application of modern technology. Now, its application in terms of transition in the modes of working of the economy with reference to ideas, knowledge, information, gives a realm to the realm of knowledge economy. The human capital, that is stocks of habits, knowledge, social and personality attributes, which also includes creativity, embodied in the ability to perform labor so as to produce economic value. Now, this concept is becoming important in the study of human resource management, and as well as trying to understand the peculiarities of the practices of business administration and microeconomics, global political economy, amongst others. Dear learners, when we look at human capital, Adam Smith in the 18th century did some important work with reference to human agency, where there should be laissez-faire, market should prevail on its own, and government should have minimal interface. Later on, the modern theory with notion of human capital has been popularized by Gary Becker and Nobel laureate from University of Chicago, Jacob Mincer and Theodore Schultz also. In 2018, Nobel Prize for Economics was jointly awarded to Paul Romer, who founded the modern innovation-driven approach to understanding economic growth. And then the concept of task specified human capital, how it was coined in 2004 by Robert Gibbon, an economist at MIT, Michael Waldman at Cornell University. So this shows the amount of research and other related work that has gone into the realm of studying the significance of the human variable with respect to the bigger economic processes. Now, knowledge economy and human capital have an important link. We all know that education, knowledge, right from micro to macro level, are important dynamics in the realm of human capital. They can serve as a productive asset for business or business products to be sold and exported to get profits for business, individuals, economy, amongst others. With the increased role of information and technology in present day economics, both at national and global realm, there are wide-ranging debates about what kind of competencies and capabilities are needed now with respect to the changing context of economics as well as the needs and requirements of the workforce. In such a scenario, when we look at from the perspective of IPE, the interface of the politics and the economic paradigm, what we find here is that work is becoming much more skilled across industries as well as within individual occupations. Secondly, what we see here is that there is workforce upskilling in terms of the average educational level of workers and the types of jobs they are performing. And both these aspects have an important bearing on the workforce, skill development, job creation for respective nation states, as well as defining this need in terms of their national interest with global and foreign affairs paradigm. So the outcome that is there, that is today there is an important need to focus on skill development, communicating realms, trying to get problem solving skills in the curriculum, ability to work in terms of teams and ICT, and how today the core foundational skills have to be backed up with emerging and newly arising aspects with respect to ICT and knowledge. We all know that today there are issues that are there whenever we talk about information technology and its relation with knowledge realms. So what we see here is that issues in advancing knowledge economies, they are aspects that require deliberation in order to cater to them, in order to translate these problems into solutions, management and integration, the shift toward distributed systems that adds value, increasing flexibility, reduction of cost, the need to work out ICT and infrastructure, the need to have control as well as transparency, the need to balance out proximity as well as location aspect, the need to factor in trust and quality, and above all policy support that is essential on part of respective nation states with respect to letting knowledge economy, the avenues of knowledge economy and the gains that it gets in the respective nations move towards an advancement stage. Dear learners, when we look at the global workforce scenario, with knowledge economy, one finds that there has been expansion of the STEM jobs, primarily science, technology, engineering, mathematics. How knowledge provides the foundation for the necessary technical expertise, data collection, analysis skills, innovative management practices that enable companies and businesses to compete in the modern global economy. Then this brings us, these two observations brings us that why is specialized knowledge as well as skills are important. And again, the question of significance is not just at the micro level. The question of significance has a macro approach and reach as well. Because one has to understand that specialized knowledge serves as a productive asset for a business to employ, a productive asset for a nation to translate them into their national interests. And then at the second realm, it's a product for a business to market and sell. And therefore, when we are meaning a product for a business to market and sell, then at the national level, it becomes an important dimension of national power. What we see here is because of knowledge economy, it has had an impact on the territory also. When we hear about the Silicon Valley in United States, one sees that there are developments of clusters of industries that are centered in a particular geographical area, and such development of clusters are being witnessed in nations across the globe. An important aspect that we must need to know here as we are discussing how knowledge economy is redefining power. Knowledge economy has an important bearing for national interest and as well as in terms of the bigger architecture of the economic power that a nation lays down. The Bayh-Dole Act of 1980, United States universities worked out ways to retain titles to inventions or discoveries made with federal research and development funding and to negotiate exclusive licenses. This tells us that how the Bayh-Dole Act of 1980 is related to a bigger picture that we want to figure out, that today with knowledge economy, the structures of power are not just the status perspective. Places like academia, media, universities, institutions, global firms who have an important stake in research and development activities thereof, it's decentralized up to that. So when we are looking at innovation based on research, then there is a debate that whether have we commodified knowledge via patents, other forms of intellectual property, and above all that in the information age, global economy with the transition towards a knowledge economy has this power division between haves and has not being built on this aspect of policy support, financial support to research and development with respect to one nation versus the other. Power, as we all know, is the ability to influence the behavior of others to get the outcomes one wants. Dear learners, we all know that there are several ways to affect the behaviors of others. Hard power, as we all know, it's about military power. The topic of soft power, the concept was elaborated and explained to us by Joseph Nye. That is, it's the ability to influence others, achieve national self-interest through attraction, through persuasion. This is different from hard power, which uses coercion through military force, economic sanctions to achieve national interest. To add to it, the concept of smart power emerged later and is a calibrated combination of hard power and soft power strategies used to achieve countries' goals and national interests. Soft power, as we all know, it has been applied to many sectors. There are attempts on part of several nation states through their bilateral and multilateral mechanisms to factor in the national interest. Soft power has an impact on the knowledge economy also. Today, what we see that how the scope of knowledge economy is expanding with deliberations by respective nation states on collaborative learning programs, capacity buildings, memorandums of understanding on working out common academic and development projects, all of it which are framed as soft power initiatives. Knowledge economy has an important bearing therein. Now, from knowledge economy to wealth creation also, one has to see that this task, this challenge has to be dealt by nations for the need to have comprehensive and holistic knowledge ecosystems. Today, growth and productivity cannot be just reduced to capital and labor. The transition in traditional economic models to new ambit where knowledge economy, that is namely knowledge now intensive and high technology industries, they are now contributing a majority part to the long-term growth scenario. Then above all, when we are looking at the composition of global output of knowledge in terms of intensive services, this also is important for global standing of a respective nation state. Knowledge and globalization are also related. We all know globalization signifies integration, interchange, exchange of goods, services, ideas. Today, when we are living in the world of space-time compression, information technology is an important dimension to let globalizations move forward. This facilitates the effortless exchange of information and ideas across borders, expansion of resources from countries all across the world, new ideas and products as well as new ways associated with them of engaging, of doing business, of developing new types of norms and values. The importance of situating knowledge economy in the bigger picture of international political economy is very essential to be taken into account. We take reference to an important book by Stefano Zambon, Visualizing Intangibles, Measuring and Reporting in the Knowledge Economy. Dear learners, this book is from Routledge 2016, and in this book, as we scan through the pages, we find that today knowledge economy in the form of an intangible asset, intellectual capital, cannot be ignored. Right from academia to policy making to practitioners, issues like reporting of knowledge economy, measuring it, quantifying it, management of it exist. And therefore, when we get some important reflections from this book, one has to look at opening up innovative methods and opportunities for knowledge-based economies, as well as focusing on the need to broaden the scope and depth of investigation. Another important book that is from Roberto Unger, that is The Knowledge Economy, Verso Books 2019, tells us that how today traditional mass production and economic growth linkages have changed now. what we find here is an alternative, that is a deepened, socially inclusive form of knowledge economy. This continues to lie beyond the reach of many nations. Transformative potential of the knowledge economy. KBE, when we look at a knowledge-based economy, has challenges and changes, not just in institutions, but also say in education, culture, politics, amongst others. What is needed, as we get from the book, that one has to look at, rethink at the inequality, the stagnation, the exclusion, related processes, both in the economics as well as economy as a bigger picture. Similarly, another book that is by Deborah M. Amidon, that is Innovation Strategy for the Knowledge Economy, Routledge 2009. What we find here is in this book that there are remarks at how there is an eagerness on part of organizations which has a bearing on national as well as global policies to add here, that is to transform organization with systematic notions of knowledge creation and application. What is needed is best of quality and re-engineering management techniques. And this book gives us important aspects that today how our practical framework for instituting innovation strategy must go beyond the traditional definition of flow paths, algorithms, amongst others. Another important book by Mark L. Lengick-Halley, Cynthia A. Lengick-Hall, that is edited book that is on human resource management in the knowledge economy, new challenges, new roles. Now, in this book, dear learners, what we find here is that intellectual capital and knowledge management are essential for competitive success. Today, human resource management also must focus on new roles like human capital steward, knowledge facilitator, relationship builder, rapid deployment specialist. And in all this, one has to look that today, with the changes in human resource towards human resource management, it definitely has a bearing for national and global governance as well. Let's understand the deeper implications of knowledge economy by this report from imf.org, that is how knowledge spreads. More rapid diffusion of know-how is important benefit of globalization. Now, as we take on some important points from this report of September 2018, we find that today production of global stock of knowledge and technology, which was earlier, dear learners, concentrated in a few large industrialized economies. Reading from this information from imf.org, we find that from 1995 to 2014, 3/4 of world patented innovations originated from what the information tells us from group of 5, G5 technology leaders, US, Japan, Germany, France and UK. With globalization, advancements in technology, the potential for knowledge to travel faster and further has increased. There is opening up, greater opportunities are coming, and this is good for emerging market economies to learn from each other and collaborate and grow with each other. Technologically advanced countries built their own innovation capacity, and technology transfer is becoming the key for spearheading knowledge and lifting incomes and living standards across the world. Emerging market economies have been able to capitalize on the greater access to global knowledge to enhance their innovation capacity and productivity. So, therefore, dear learners, we find that knowledge economy holds an important promise of great life, economic benefits, as well as enhancing productivity and growth, which is very essential for national interest as well as for building foundations of international political economy on stability, sustainability, inclusivity and equity. While we are understanding knowledge economy with respect to global political economy, at the same time one has to look at the challenges. That is issue of exclusion of vast majority of the workforce from the realm of knowledge economy. How handfuls of global firms, they control research and development. entrepreneurial and technological elites, they control the knowledge economy paradigm. There is a need for redistributive social spending. There is a need for correcting inequalities generated here in the market regime. Today, knowledge is a critical driver of economic growth and development. And this is why, this is what is driving nations across the globe to work out in a multi-stakeholder approach to harness the benefits of a knowledge economy. Dear learners, we hope the lecture today on knowledge economy and its very important bearing for international political economy, global governance, domestic governance gave important significant inputs and insights. We look forward to positive, encouraging feedback from you all. Thank you for being with us.